I'm Karen Hunter with SecureIt.
And I'm Emily Serino with SecureIt.
And we are with Elizabeth Bienas.
Hi.
With
Happy to be here.
We're glad to have you. So, Elizabeth, I had to have you at this fire event because, like everyone else, you represent all the elements, you know, the fierce, instinctive, revolutionary, and empowered, right? And I love people that are so authentic and genuine. Like, we've never met before in person, but from watching you just on social media and then being with you, I'm like, she's just exactly like she is on social media. And I mean, you can just tell when someone's that authentic and that genuine. And that is what resonates with the everyday gun owner. And I think you reach more people than just women too. I think that you reach just, you know, a ton of people. They just want to know how to carry their gun. I know you're drawn to her. So Emily's at the beginning of her firearm journey.
Yep. Well, in the content that I have seen you post, I'm learning with everything, and I'm thinking about the things that you're sharing. So tell us about your story.
Well, I'm glad to hear that, and I'm glad to hear you say that too. When you invited me, I thought, oh my gosh, Karen Hunter sent the message to the wrong person. How awkward. No, but I try to be the same person on Instagram. I have a brand, I think of it as a brand, as a vehicle to help women, but I want it to be the same, again, as if you met me, because it's just my real life. So I started carrying concealed about 12 years ago, and I did the whole throw it in your purse. I had a little Ruger LC9 was my first gun because...
Mine too!
Well, back then they didn't make anything that was small, right? So I had that until Glock 43 came out, and then I switched, but I didn't know anything about carrying on body. And so I put it in my purse with the safety on, no holster, which is crushes my soul now. And I didn't train with it because it had a trigger pull that was 1.5 miles long. So it hurt. It made me so nervous to, I didn't have a lot of experience. So I probably trained with it 3 times, and I just was like, well, I hope this works, in the bottom of my bag, not anywhere. And a few years later, I don't remember why I decided, but I decided that I need to start carrying on body. So I kind of went through the process that a lot of women go through. My husband had been carrying for a long time at that point, and it was pretty seemingly easy for him, which it is for a lot of guys. So I went through the process of trying to find a holster, and when I realized it wasn't going to be as easy as it was for him, just order, back then it was like Tier 1 concealed was like coming on the market, and that's what a lot of guys that we knew were carrying with, and I got it, and I was like, there's no way, I can't possibly hide this in my clothes. So I tried to find information online, and there was not a lot of people. There were some OGs like Karen Hunter and Emily Valentine and Amy Robbins and stuff like that. And, I'll be honest, a lot of them took me under their wing. They answered my questions, and they helped me out, and they supported me. So I started posting on my personal Instagram to kind of feel it out, really more about my journey, not to teach anybody about anything, but hey, I'm learning this thing and kind of you want to go through it with me. And it started to become a thing, and then a few months later, my Instagram got hacked and completely stolen, and held hostage for money, which I didn't pay because it was an Instagram account. Right. It was nothing. So I decided to start casual and tactical, because I thought, well, I'm just going to go to a dedicated page. And even then I was like, I'm not, I'll post every so often kind of about my journey. And people were really receptive to it, and it really just took off, which, I say it took off without me knowing, but I did put a lot of work into it. But there's never a guarantee that if you put the work into it that you get, it's not a 1-for-1 system, social media, right? It's more often that it works if you work it, but again, it's not. There's a lot of people that work hard at it, and they have not seen the same growth.
Yeah, it's not the same as it used to be.
Yes.
Back in it. Yeah.
And I came in when it was not easy anymore. So it was pre-reels, but not easy. So it's been about 3 years now. And it just took off, which encouraged me to learn more and, post more and that sort of thing.
So when did you write your book?
So I wrote my book, Women's Guide to Concealed Carry, in 2021. So I started writing it in 2020, and it took me a long time to get over myself of like, who are you to do this? Why are you doing this? This is very stupid. Like, nobody's going to read this. And then finally in 2021, I put myself on a deadline. I said, okay, like, you're either going to do it or you're going to delete the file and you're going to be done with it. So it's in an ebook form because post-COVID is very expensive to get things self-published because paper and printing went like
I
through
think
the
most
roof.
people prefer, I like books, but most people prefer an ebook.
Yep.
Like it's right
Well,
then.
it's easy to digest too, right? And I think for a target audience of the first-time gun owner, a very low commitment,
Yes.
easy way to gain knowledge and take their curiosity and learn from someone who's credible that they might already be following or stumble upon and say, ooh, that's a woman that I'm interested in following her journey and helping to find mine.
Yep. So it looks fantastic on the iPad or any tablet that you have. But yeah, that's exactly why I wrote it. So it's 100 pages. And I wrote it to go start to finish on your concealed carry journey, which I don't believe there's ever a finish. There's always practice and there's always refinement, and something new is going to come out that is going to be better for us. I believe that. But really I say it's start to confidence is what it is. So it's for brand new who knows nothing. It takes you from the very beginning. It's for the woman who carries once a month because she's really having trouble printing. It's for the women who don't have trouble printing, but they don't have confidence to carry. So they're still scared of it. They're still nervous that they, won't be able to do what they need to do. So it's really, I think, for all levels, but mainly for new people and people who are lacking the confidence that allows them to carry every time they leave the house, which in my opinion is the goal of concealed carry. It's not something that happens occasionally. The goal of it is to carry every single time that you leave the house, but feel confident about that.
I love that so much.
Me too. I'm going to go download that ebook and like 100 pages. I can knock that sucker out in a weekend.
It's so funny because, I had the same gun when I started and there was nobody. I remember putting my ammunition in the garage, my magazines with no what's that gonna do, in the laundry room, and then house carrying with my gun because I was terrified to put a loaded gun in my holster on my body. I thought it was just I had to demystify it first.
Yes.
I had to break things. Then finally when I tore it apart, figured out, well, I got a different gun. I couldn't take that one apart. But and then when I'm like, oh, and when the mystery went away, but if I would have had, I Googled, I got online, but it was nothing like that was applicable to me. Even for training, it was like, I am never going to jump out of an airplane.
Right.
I am never going to do pull-ups on the ring. It's not happening. I carry because I don't run. Yeah. But no, just but like you know what I mean. Like nothing was applicable to why I had a firearm, as especially when I was a single mom and my kids were small. I couldn't even find information how to properly store it. Nothing like that. So
it wasn't just out there on the internet back then.
You just kind of like meddled your way through. So with what you have, and everyone starts where we were. Like there's so many people out there like that, and that's why I love what you're doing. That's why you're here.
Yeah,
and the fact that you're genuine, authentic, is where people are going to identify with you and trust you because they'll resonate with that. They'll see in you them. It's not like a perception.
Yeah, I'm just a regular person.
I
don't have any military experience. I don't have any law enforcement experience. I didn't grow up with guns. I didn't grow up handling guns. But it's funny you say that when you demystified it, because that was how I finally got comfortable with carrying, particularly one in the chamber. So my husband's an engineer, and he's very good at explaining things, and he's had a really integral role in my concealed carry and I say I'm partial to him, but I say he's kind of the ideal spouse in this situation where he was supportive but very hands off. Like everything was my decision. Oh, you want that gun? That's fine, you know? So he was great. But I think he didn't really know, I didn't express to him like where my fears were coming from, so he didn't really know like how to tell me. And he's not an instructor, he's just had a lot of experience with guns. But once he showed me how to break it down and he showed me mechanically how it works, what happens when that trigger is pulled and you know what happens when it isn't and that sort of thing, that was the same thing for me where I was like, okay, that was light bulb moment. And I thought, okay, well, I understand how this works, so I understand how to do it safely. So that's a big thing, I think, for women too, especially. I'm not mechanically inclined at all. I leave all that stuff to my husband, and you know, to his credit, he loves that stuff. So when we come home from the range, he is thrilled to put out every gun and clean it, and I just, you know, he puts his music on. I mean, I've never cleaned a gun. I know how, but he's thrilled to do it, and like, who am I to take that away from him?
Who are any of us? I mean, if he really loves it, we can ship.
Karen, he would clean your guns after the range. I promise you that.
I always tease people. There's pool boys, or cabana boys. I need a gun cleaning boy. I need whatever.
He would be pleased, and it would be
that
very
is
clean.
So funny.
Yeah.
So would you say that was maybe your biggest challenge when you were first getting into carrying a gun on body? Or talk about that, because I think that there's first-time gun buyers, myself being one of those people, who are looking at this mountain, right? And there's so many places to get information. Where do you see kind of that biggest challenge that a first-time person might experience, and kind of talk about kind of how you overcame that, if you wouldn't mind?
Yeah. So I think I see, and I talk to a lot of women about this. So my experience is different than a lot of women, but it's the same as a lot of women as well. So what I hear are two major things. The fear of the firearm, right? So fear of a negligent discharge, fear of not being able to handle it properly. And I think that comes from not knowing how it works, because there's a difference in knowing how to shoot a gun and knowing how it actually works mechanically. Like watching those videos on YouTube where they break them down and slow them down, and you see like, this is what happens. So, and if you're not mechanically inclined, that's not intuitive to you. So that's one. And then I think for others who are comfortable with guns, printing and concealing is just, it's so much different for women than it is for men. Like, I cannot say that enough. And there are some men that understand that it's just easy. But with women, we have, our bodies are just biologically different. We bear children, we hold children on our hips, we have a cycle every month. Some women have C-section scars, or whatever it is. So we also tend to wear like a variety of different outfits, right? All my jeans have a different rise on them. My husband has one style of jeans that he wears. He has 5 pairs of the same jeans, right? So every time his belt goes the same place every single time, right? Whereas like we're wearing different types of outfits. Some have belt loops, some don't. And that's just, part of being a woman. Even though I pretty much wear the same type of thing, I mean, I have different types of outfits, again, with the jeans and all that kind of stuff. So those are the two things. And I think that they are both issues that can be broken down into very small bites. So for me, there was a point where I was carrying every day, which I still do, but I thought, well, this is the end of it for me. And now since then, I have changed literally everything about my carry. Not the principles of carry are the same, right? But different holsters have come out, and they're better for my body, right? And even within women, like like we're gonna have different bodies, so what works for me might not work for you, vice versa. Sure. But I think realizing that if you're going to do this, just like shooting, it's going to be a lifelong journey. So you don't have to get it right. You just have to start, right? That's a quote from one of my mentors. But you you recognize that you can do it in like small bites, and then you'll get up that mountain. But once you get up that mountain, there's going to be something else that comes out, or that you may want to change.
It's a forever journey.
Forever.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Another thing I love about you is you're fun. Yeah. So like you have personality.
Yeah.
You know, like you can be silly.
Yeah.
But it doesn't ever take away from the validity
right.
of what you bring to the table.
Yeah, I try to keep it serious enough, but I'm not shy. I am a very fun person. I'm not going to sit here and say, "Oh no, not me." I'm very fun and I'm hilarious.
You are, and I'm not going to say that. I mean, I'm not going to say I don't like to be entertained. Yeah. I love to be entertained. Yeah. Well, I like intelligent conversation, but I want to be entertained.
Yeah. The perfect example is I have been following you, and I see all the content you post, and the one that I remember is you doing a video
sitting on my toilet
in the bathroom showing what you do with your gun when you're going to the bathroom.
And I did 3 videos. Yeah, because the people really wanted to see me doing 3 toilet videos.
I missed those. Yeah. So when you sat down and said, I think of you every time I go to the bathroom, I didn't know what was happening, but now I do. But that's what makes it fun.
It could have gone either way.
It could have. But I think that's what there is certainly a serious nature to firearms in general, right? But for someone that might be a little anxious or not sure how to navigate getting started, to find someone like you who can introduce guns in a way that makes you kind of relax and take a breath and realize, okay, there are people that are like me that are successful and on their journey, and it makes me want to start.
Yeah,
like you said.
I appreciate that, and that's really that's where casual and tactical came from. It's twofold, right? I'm a very casual dresser in my life, but safety is very serious, and I take guns very seriously. But I also believe that the casual casual gun owner who is not like, I want to get like right into this and all that kind of stuff, that they can still carry and feel confident, and they have the right to, learn that stuff without going full on into it, because that was me for a lot of years. Now, as it's evolved for me, I've gotten more into guns and like interested in that sort of thing. But that was me. I just wanted to carry and train for defensive purposes. And it was like, I didn't really want to know, don't tell me about the newest gun. I don't care about that kind of stuff. And I do think that that's the majority of people. We tend to miss that because we're in the industry, involved in the industry. But the vast majority of people, they just want to protect their bodies and they just want to protect their families. And those are the people that I want to get to.
I love that, because that's who really needs it.
Yes, they do. Yeah.
So where can people find everything about you?
Okay. So Instagram, I am @casual and tactical. Twitter, I'm @casual_tactical, because somebody took my name, which is a bit rude. Facebook is the same, casual and tactical, and then my website is casualandtactical.com.
Thank you so much for being at this event.
Yeah.
Thank you. Elizabeth, we are so glad you're here.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it, and it's been awesome to meet you guys.
You too.
Yeah.